Hello and welcome back to Rocking Elders. My name is Jan and
I'm Dee.
today we're going to do a part two. We're going to do a part two on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. We had to, didn't we, Dee?
Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't know if it was a shocker for everybody, but it went right down to the wire, didn't it?
It did. And
It
the thing
really.
is, I want you all to realise that Dee and I haven't actually discussed the verdict yet.
No.
So what you're going to hear is us just chatting away about our thoughts. And we thought that was probably the best way to do it because we want to come off as being just comfortable boomers. Just imagine us
Yes,
in a coffee shop
I
and
can.
we're just sipping our coffee and we're just gonna chat and just so happen to record it.
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
So for those who have been in a cave or somewhere,
Okay.
it was the verdict today. I
Can't
tell
believe it.
you, it was like the world stood still. I don't
It
know whether
was. It really was. I was actually tweeting today that I thought it was going to go in Amber's favor. I really
right.
did. And I wasn't really on her side based on the evidence. But I just had this feeling that, with the Me Too movement and everything, that she would get some kind of a, something to acknowledge what she went through. But it didn't happen. She got something. I think there was something, one
Yeah.
of the questions there that was in her favor. But overall, they were just saying they thought she lied.
Yes.
And that
Imagine having
really,
to live with that now.
yes, forever.
Well, I don't know where you watched it, Dee. I watched it on YouTube and
Hmm.
I watched it live,
Hmm.
and it's called Law and Order or Law and Crime or something. There were 3 million of us watching it.
3 million.
And 3
Million.
million people just
Oh,
on that channel watching it.
oh my God.
It was huge.
Oh
And
my God.
the way that they did it, the way they gave us the answers and
Hmm.
everything, I can't even think of the word I'm looking for, but anyway, the way they did it I thought was very complicated because I was listening to it
Hmm.
and my two daughters were both watching it, but I think they were watching it on Facebook what
Okay.
afterwards. We were like, I just wrote in the WhatsApp group, well, I'm confused.
I was too. I
Yeah.
was watching on also YouTube channel called Popcorn Planet, and
Okay.
there were probably, I don't know, 150,000 people in that group.
Yeah.
And they're more of a reaction channel. It's a group of they're young people, but they've been covering it since day one. But they're kind of fun and upbeat. They were pro Johnny Depp. Not that that matters. It's all based on evidence anyway.
Mm,
But um, everyone was like it could go either way. But when they read out the questions, I was confused, as was everybody else in that chat.
yeah.
150,000 people going, what happened?
Yeah.
It wasn't clear at all.
No.
And until somebody explained it, like, yeah, he got that one, but it wasn't clear.
No.
It
At
was legal
first
jargon.
at first, I thought they were doing it. I mean, maybe it's because it wasn't actually a criminal court, was it? It was
No,
a libel.
right.
What's the other one called? Whatever it's called. So I guess they were just focusing on the specifics,
Yes.
which were, the defamation
The defamation.
charges.
Yes.
And did they feel that he proved enough? And all these
Hmm.
questions were coming out, but it was
Right.
so confusing.
It
I
was.
didn't know whether they were sort of, because I know sometimes they sort of ask the jury, don't they? So do you think he was guilty or do you
Right.
think he's innocent? So at first I thought it was that. And then
Yeah.
I thought, oh no, it can't
Right.
be that.
I was the same.
Oh, maybe it's because we're boomers.
Well, this could be true, but I'm looking for a very, especially coming from a jury, have very simple the way they're going to read, because it was defamation. So neither one was on trial. It was really just a did they think she lied, and did he bring enough evidence against her to prove
Yeah,
that she was lying?
yeah.
Um, and but they made it so complicated
Mm,
when they read the verdict.
I know.
I had to listen to it like 5 times. They're like, "Oh, he won." I'm like, "He did? Did he?"
Yeah,
Because I didn't get it. I
I
didn't.
know. And then the amounts when it came to the
Right.
money. The
Mm-hmm.
first thing I saw afterwards when it was read out, I mean, I've got my family WhatsApp message here in front of me, and with my daughter has actually got a law degree. One of my
Oh.
daughters has got a law degree. She's very intelligent. Don't know
Oh.
where she got that from, but anyway.
Nice.
So I'm confused. Did Amber win anything?
Right.
And
And she
she said
did.
no, because I wasn't sure whether she
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
And then I remembered, like, was it the fourth question in
Uh-huh.
about one specific thing that
Yes.
they said yes to?
Yes. I think they
Um,
said it was a former, Johnny's former attorney, or Johnny had sued her saying it was either frivolous, or untrue. The verbiage of it made to think it was a farce. And
yeah,
that's what they voted against. So that was in favor of Amber. And
yes.
that's where she got, I think, $2 million. I know, just like, oh, 2 mil. Wow.
Oh, no.
Oh my. But that's
So
all she won. That's all she won out
yes,
of
that is
that.
all she won. And
Yeah,
apparently, see, this is again where I'm
mhm.
confused, and I'm not really that thick. I think I'm a fairly intelligent
I'd say you are. Yes.
but I couldn't work it out. So at first, they said that Johnny had won 10 million.
Right.
Then he won 5 million
Mhm.
on, oh, I've got to say this word properly, properly, punitive damages. So I
Mhm.
quickly text my daughter, what does punitive damages mean?
Mhm.
So she sent back the answer. Punitive damages are to punish the person. Ah, so that means that
Mhm.
the Amber is then going to have to pay that amount.
That's right.
But because that court, oh, I don't know whether it's just because it's in America,
Mhm.
that can only, it's tapped at 335,000,
Right. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So she will have to pay him that.
Yes.
No, so he hasn't won 15 million.
No.
He's won 10 million plus that 375,000.
Punitive damages on
Yes,
top of the
punitive.
10 million.
That's right.
That was to slap her wrist, I'm sure.
Yes.
That was the jury telling her this should never have come to court. And you know, basically, don't you think that was them saying should never have come to court? It was a false claim, or not
Mm.
even a false claim. I can't really make it out yet. I think she was injured. I think
I,
he was injured. And I think I said at the last podcast, I don't think there's any winners here. Although I'm sure right now he feels vindicated. And I saw something someone had posted on Twitter of her remarks, saying that we just set the country back, so many years, and no one's going to take women getting abused seriously. Now, I don't agree with that, but
see, that's
you know,
another that's another thing, and I would like to discuss that with you at some point.
okay,
Maybe a bit more towards the end of the
all right,
podcast, because otherwise we might get bogged down in that. Whereas
okay,
I'd really rather sort of talk about what
hmm,
actually happened today,
yeah,
and then look at, other aspects to it. Otherwise, we're going to
okay,
be done and dusted in 10 minutes.
yes, fair enough.
So I just cannot understand why it was so complicated.
Yeah,
Um, but we got there in the end. We realized what it meant.
right.
If Amber, I have to ask this, if Amber was supposed to be lying, which is what
Mm-hmm.
the awards are implying. Why wasn't it thrown out of court beforehand? Why wasn't she thrown out of court beforehand? Why did she still get a huge amount of money? Because let's be honest, £2 million isn't like nothing. It's not like pocket money.
No.
So why are the sums of money so high? That's what I would argue.
I think because, and again, I'm not an attorney, so I'm just guessing here, but I think because of when all this happened, I think it was in the UK. Wasn't there a
Yes,
trial or something in the
yes.
UK?
And he
And
lost. He
he
lost in the
lost.
UK.
Right, right. So I think the 2 million to her, in my opinion, was to say they acknowledge that there was abuse of some kind
Mhm,
within the marriage to her. And I think that was to acknowledge that. The rest of it, she sued him for 100 million or 550 million or whatever it was, millions of dollars. I think that's where it got slapped down. But for the
mm,
2 million, I think that's an acknowledgement. That's not like zero, go away, you get nothing, you're a loser, liar, and stop talking and leave. No, they
mm,
acknowledged what happened based on the evidence that they
mhm.
had. And I think it was right that they pay her something. I think that was right. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, none of them can come out of this unscathed.
No.
Um,
It's like I said, and I think we both agreed
mhm.
in the previous podcast that
Yeah,
they were, in our opinion. I mean, this is all our opinions, but
right. It's
in
just
our
us talking.
opinion,
Hmm.
they were equally. I mean, I can say that. I believe they were equally
Hmm.
responsible for the end of their marriage. It was a
Yes,
rotten marriage. They should never have got married.
agreed.
Was she manipulative throughout the marriage? Yes.
Yeah.
So was he. I've actually got her response in front of me
Oh,
now.
you do. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to read it out. Goes on a bit,
Yep.
but
That's all right.
if I
It's a good one.
if I get bored, I'll stop. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Oh, God. Why is it my kids always try and contact me when I need my phone? Anyway, so this was Amber at the end,
Hmm.
and I think it might be a good idea. Okay, let's chop this down, shall we? Let's do it
Yep.
this way. Let's chop it down
Hmm.
and add our thoughts
All
to
right.
what she has written.
That
The,
sounds good.
the disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway
Ugh.
of my ex husband.
Well, I think in my opinion, there was a mountain of evidence against her. I don't, what she provided, in my view, really put the nail in her coffin. I don't think he had anything to do with providing information or a mountain of evidence. Seems to me she's writing that saying, maybe she got railroaded by what he submitted. But really, the most damning things in this, and to me, in this trial, were those audio tapes
Mm,
that she provided. So I'm not surprised that she said that he is stronger when in fact he is more popular, he's more successful, he's older. But I don't think there was mountains of evidence that she provided that would prove her case. Well, obviously the jury decided against her. But
yeah.
do you think it's delusional in a way? Do you think that she really believes deep down that she was railroaded by him?
I think there's a possibility, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think, is it delusion? Maybe it is delusion, but I think only she knows if she was
Oh,
telling the
yeah.
truth or not.
Yeah.
So to be so public and come out with that
Yeah.
is, yeah, we could say it's delusional. Maybe
Right.
it is. But I will say, I mean, she's put that the mounting of evidence was still not enough. What mountain of evidence, which is
Right.
what you just said. She didn't, I think that was her main downfall. It
Yes.
was like, even when she was supposedly beaten up the night before,
Hmm.
she then went on to TV, live TV, and had no bruising or anything. And when
Yeah.
you consider some of the things that she accused Johnny of,
Hmm.
why did she never go to hospital with it? Why did she never have any medical evidence?
Agreed. She did admit to having been bruised, slapped, beaten up, pushed, headlocked, all these things, and to not go at least each time this happened to document it in some way, saying I did go to the doc, and a doctor would say there's slight bruising or there's no bruising, but there's really not enough medical evidence to support what she was saying. It's just her word against his.
Yeah.
And the burden of proof was on, her really to say,
Yeah.
yes, this all happened and here's why. And it wasn't there.
I have to agree with you there. I
Yeah.
do feel that if she had the foresight
Hmm.
to record the arguments and the
Yes.
rows and the
Hmm.
violence,
Hmm.
wouldn't she then have the foresight, or also have the foresight, to get it seen by a medical person, to get
Right.
medical evidence? So
Yes.
those two things, they don't really tally together. So what was the real reason then for filming that?
It.
Because filming that alone
Hmm.
isn't enough. There's not a shadow of a doubt. There is always going to be a shadow of a doubt
Yeah.
over it, because you don't have anything that evidential to show in a court of law. So was she doing it
Right.
to prove it as evidence?
Yeah, this is the confusing part. She made sure that things were recorded, so the general public or attorneys or whoever could hear their arguments and what the
Mm,
relationship was like, and maybe some violence that was occurring. But then to not back it up by going to the doctor the night of an argument, or somebody got hit or slapped or punched or whatever they did to each other, and not to make a conscious effort not to say, well, I better get checked out. I mean, one of the things she said right before the trial closed was that he hit me so hard I thought I broke my nose. And they said, why didn't you go to a doctor? You film the next day and there's no swelling
mm,
and no bruising. And she's like, oh, that's makeup. And they're like, yeah, but makeup doesn't cover swelling.
no.
She goes, well, not typically, but ice does. Do you know what I mean? There was no
No.
substantial backup for what she was saying, so it all sounded like a lie. Now, it could very well have been true, but if you
Mm.
can't back up what you're saying, you're up the creek, kid.
That's it. And I mean, we all know that.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a new thing and she could say, oh, I
No.
didn't know that. I didn't realize I was going to have to do that. No, you
Right.
know that you have to prove it.
Have to.
Let's get back to this and
Okay.
see what else she says. She said,
Okay.
I'm even more disappointed with what I've lost it. Great. Hang on one sec. I'll stop
Okay.
this. Did I find it on there? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Don't worry, I'll cut this out. And if I don't, people just see how
That's
ridiculously useless I am.
this is how boomers are, kids.
Oh, God. Yeah, come and say hello to the boomers. Right,
That's
where
right.
is it gone? Right, Johnny Depp. Yeah, okay. We'll get there in a minute, guys. I might leave this in. Then again, I might not. Right. Well, Jan, you've excelled yourself here, Jan. You really have excelled. I'm on a completely different page. Would you like to sing us a song, Dee?
I wish I had a good Johnny Depp, yo ho, a pirate song.
Definitely
Oh,
cut
no,
that
that's
one
in
out.
bad taste. Yeah.
Definitely cutting that out. Where does I find? Oh, there. Why does it keep? It doesn't want me to look at it.
You can't get back to the
There we
page?
go. We're here. Right. Okay. Pretend that bit didn't happen. All right. Just
Okay.
pretend. Right.
Okay.
Okay. So let's now move on to the next statement. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated.
Mm.
It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously.
Oh my. Thoughts?
My thoughts are, don't speak for all women. I'm sure there's just as many women that don't believe you as many men.
Hmm.
And I say, I mean, I've not hidden the fact that I wanted to believe her.
I
Because
know.
I didn't want to believe that somebody would be that callous and that vindictive.
Yes.
Drag their ex-husband so publicly. I did. I
Yeah.
really wanted to believe that.
Yeah. I think a
But
lot of us did. Yeah, I do.
so
Just,
do you feel that it's a setback for women?
I don't think it's a setback at all. Here's what I wish had happened. I wish in her letter, her closing letter to, after the verdict, I think she probably had two letters, one if she won and one if she didn't.
Yeah, yeah,
And for this one, I just wish there had been even a tiny sentence or a thought that was more humble, saying, we hurt each other.
mm,
And it needs to be brought to attention that both men and women can get abused. There's
yes,
no part in there to acknowledge what she did to him
no,
equally, equally. And I just wish there had been a little bit of compassion in that letter. It was all about, what I went through now has set, the country back against. I don't think so at all. If anything, women are going to be smart now, and men. And if they're going to record, they're going to go to the doctor. They're going to document everything. They
that's
will.
right.
If
Yeah,
anything, I think it's pushed it forward. But I
yeah.
just wish she had been a little more humble about the situation and acknowledged the fact that she was also an aggressor, that it happened to both of them. And she just isn't. It's not her. It's not her nature. I know she's angry. I know she is. I
But
can't
I
say I wouldn't be
don't.
the same.
What I don't like is her calling herself some sort of ambassador for the cause.
No.
No. If you're going to
Mm-mm.
be an ambassador to the cause, then you have to speak honestly. You have to be truthful, and you have to be open.
Amen.
And I have to say, in this particular case, we've seen very little of that. Even
Right.
me, who
Yeah.
wanted to believe
I
her,
know you did. I know.
I
I know you
did
did.
want to believe her for my
Yeah.
own reasons.
Right. You.
I wanted to believe her, and in the end, I just couldn't. It's like, well, where was the evidence?
I
So
think there was evidence there. I do. But I think the fact that she, rather than, especially in a court case, she purposefully ruined his life. Like you said, she was vindictive. She's like, I'm
mm,
going to shake you down now. That's it. You think you're so great? I'm going to get you now. And she went through all of this, probably paid a lot of attorneys a lot of money. She got something in her favor. And when he had had enough, he went back at her. But rather than her saying, look, what she could have done, I think, is maybe settle out of court, say, I'll make a statement. I'll say it was equal. It was me. It was something. We did it together, and maybe I jumped the gun or something like that. But she didn't. She believed in what she was doing so wholeheartedly, knowing that all that evidence was against her. I don't understand that mindset. I don't know if she's a
what
narcissist.
evidence? So what evidence?
The voice messages, the voice recordings
Yes,
of
but then
everything.
but the thing is with that is, I mean, anything like that can be taken out of context. Now,
True.
when I looked at it, and I think you can see it from different perspectives. It's
Yeah.
like I said in the last podcast,
Hmm.
you can see it from different perspectives. And maybe because of the way my mind works, I saw it from a
Hmm.
different perspective. And
Right.
I did see her as a victim. I
Hmm.
did see her trying to placate him.
Hmm.
um, I did see her trying to reason with him. So I didn't automatically look at those pieces of evidence as being
Hmm.
detrimental to her.
Yeah. And see, I did.
Yeah. I think
I did.
most people did. So
Yeah.
I'm just a weirdo. I'm just
No, it's not weird. Like you said before, you have a unique way of looking at it because you've been through something. So
yeah,
you're going to not read into it, but you're going to understand it in a different way. You're going to
yes,
look a little bit deeper than
yes,
just hearing something like, oh, they're arguing and she's aggressive. You're going to think more what's behind that and the
yes,
reasons for it. And I
yeah,
understand that.
yeah.
But the jury doesn't, we don't know what the jury, their
No,
past is, or, maybe when they were doing the jury, choosing the jury, maybe one of the questions was, have you ever been in a domestic violence situation? That
yeah,
might have been one of the questions, because the
yeah,
juries I've been on, you are asked a question that's relevant to the case you're going to be trying on a jury. Like,
mm,
if it's a shooting, they say, do you have guns? Have you ever shot a gun? Do you own any
mm,
guns? These are
mm,
questions they'll ask you to see if you're free from being prejudicial in any way. So I wonder if that was one of the questions they asked the juror, because that
yeah,
would be insight as well. I
yeah.
don't know.
I do realise that I was, especially at the beginning, I
Hmm.
was one of very few that was willing to give her, to give her the benefit of the doubt, I suppose. But even more I think because when you've been through sort of similar situations,
Hmm.
you can't help but put yourself in that situation. And I
Of
think
course.
had I at the time thought, right, I'm going to film this,
Hmm.
then that's possibly how I would have reacted. Although I do feel that in several of the clips, she
Hmm.
did come across as being antagonistic,
Yeah.
and that's not a good thing when you're arguing with somebody.
No.
To appear and then to say that you're a victim. The worst thing you want to do is appear to be antagonistic. But we
Yeah.
must never forget that Johnny Depp is a junkie.
Hmm.
He's an alcoholic.
Hmm.
He must have been, and we don't know what mental health issues he's got
Nope.
because he wouldn't be tested.
Right.
So just living with him must have been very, very difficult.
100%. 100%. I think Amber Heard, to him, an older man, I think he had a vision in his mind of what that relationship was and what it was going to be. I think he had a made up fantasy about this girl. She's beautiful, she's young, she's slim, totally his type, a rising star. And I think he had an idea of what this girl was that wasn't true. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? She was like a fantasy girl to him. And when it actually came down to it, she has mental health issues too. Put them both together, and drugs and alcohol, boom,
yeah,
boom.
exactly.
It's not going to work. Now, they probably did love each other. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that they loved each other.
Mm,
But I mean, I've been divorced. Sometimes you can love somebody and it just can't live with them.
yeah,
You just
yeah,
can't. And I think I look at it that way too. You can love them, beyond everything, have a family with them, and still you cannot live a day-to-day life with them. And I think this is what this was. Like, maybe they loved each other too much. There was like too much there, and they're both type A personalities, and it just didn't mix. It
yeah,
just didn't. Yeah.
yeah. And I think also, like we touched on in the previous podcast, I think the age difference would have
Oh yeah.
definitely been a huge factor.
Oh
And I'm
boy.
surprised it never came up actually.
I know.
Um,
That was
but
strange.
yeah.
It
So
was.
she then put, I believe Johnny's attorneys succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK.
Hmm.
I think she's right up to a point. She's right about ignoring the evidence
Mhm.
because they did win in the UK. There's no disputing that. Did they overlook the key issue of freedom of speech? That's a different issue. In my mind, that's a different issue. Freedom of speech hasn't got anything to do with defaming somebody. You can have freedom of speech. But you can't defame people publicly, especially in that business, without consequences.
Agreed. Freedom of speech doesn't mean you can say whatever the hell you want
Yeah.
and everybody has to listen to it and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that bothered me, that part of that note, that letter,
Mm-hmm.
that there was some thoughts to that they interfered with her freedom of speech and that it wasn't paid attention to. That's outrageous. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
it's two different things. It's two different things there. And to blame his attorneys for doing their job, well, what are you going to say about that? That he hired them
They
so
were
that he
awful,
would
though. They were
win.
like Rottweilers.
Oh
They
boy,
were like Rottweilers.
they really were.
I didn't like them.
Talk about aggressive. My
I didn't
goodness.
like them at all. I thought they were horrid.
They kind of scared me. I'm glad I wasn't sitting in front of them. She was
Yeah.
very brave to have to sit through all that. That young woman, Camille, my goodness,
Mm,
that young woman was so smart, though. I mean, they had forever to
mm,
prepare for this trial, and they probably went over every circumstance like they do and practice everything. But she didn't back down. She didn't get scared. She wasn't intimidated. But boy, they were intimidating. They
yeah.
were to me watching them. Wow.
I just thought they were really rude. I can't think of anything else to say. I just thought they were really rude. I
Welcome to
thought,
court.
yeah. I mean, I just thought the way they spoke to the witnesses. I mean, aren't you supposed to show a witness, a little bit of respect?
No,
Especially if it's a professor or whatever,
no.
And I just thought they were like a pack of baying hounds that sort of scavenging or attacking a piece of meat that's thrown into the den. I didn't like that.
Yeah,
But
I saw win at any cost. And the
yeah.
fact that they were aggressive with the witnesses was a stance, I think, of strength. I think that
Mm,
was their way of addressing everything from a
mhm,
place of strength. And I think that's why they were so aggressive and intimidating. You know,
yeah.
they won the case.
Well, I think if I went to court, oh, they did win the case. But
Yeah.
I think if I went to court,
Hmm.
um, I'd rather they were on my side.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my goodness.
Well,
Oh,
the last little paragraph, she says, I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. So that is just totally irrelevant to what's
right.
just happened.
Agreed.
She hasn't lost her freedom of speech.
Mm-mm.
She was able to speak. The difference was she was making accusations that she wasn't able to prove.
Couldn't back it up. Nope.
Yeah. So what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next, Dee? I
Oh
wonder.
boy.
Did
Yeah.
you read Johnny's statement?
I did. I didn't read it myself, but I heard the
It
Popcorn
was,
Planet. They read it out,
yeah,
and
I thought it was quite sweet
it
actually.
was that was a little humble in there. You see, that's the difference. He came across as
Yeah.
very genuine. Now he did in fact win, but still, he came across as thankful and genuine.
Mm,
And she just came across as unlikable and mean.
yeah.
She needed to soften herself up, even if it was her letter at the end of the
I
trial. Yes, I lost,
know.
but she didn't. But
I
she
mean,
didn't.
even if she started it by saying, I want to thank even though
Right.
she knew she only had
That
me that had her case, that had her back.
yes. Yes.
Even if, at the beginning, if she'd have said, obviously this is a huge pill for me to swallow,
Hmm.
but I want to thank all my supporters, the people that
Hmm.
have sent me the best wishes for a good result for me in this case. And then go on talking
Right.
about what it
About
was she was talking about.
free
But
speech and
but
everything. Yeah.
but to say she'd lost her freedom of speech is just
I
such
know.
a silly.
I know.
I can't even think of the words, Dee. And you
I
know me,
know.
I'm never lost for words.
No, I just she just still, at the very end, when it came down to it, she came across as unlikable. And that's what I was
Yes.
saying in the beginning. Had she added some compassion or thought in there, like you said in the beginning, say, I want to thank everybody that has backed me up and supported me. You'll never know how much you appreciate your help and your kind words and thoughts. And now, unfortunately, I didn't win, and go on and on and on about that. But rather than just dip your toe into the compassion pool and say thank you to somebody,
Yeah.
she
Just say
couldn't.
just say thank
That's
you.
all. That's
You're
all
a
it
human
takes.
being. Of course
I
you're gonna be
know.
sad. Just
I
say
know.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
How hard is it for some people to say thank
Well,
you?
I know. Some
Oh,
people can't.
sorry. You know
I
what
know
I
it.
wonder if, not only can she say thank you, not I bet she can't say sorry either. And that's a bit worrying.
I think the girl has some. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research on her. I don't know, other than what's been on trial here. I wasn't a fan of any movie that she was in. I don't think she was a big star. But I wonder, moving forward, now that I believe she has a child,
I
and
know.
I think as a mother and as an actress, I think she's maybe going to have to look for a way to make some money in the future,
Yeah.
because I think she is going to be one of the most hated people right now for a while. And
Yeah.
I think her mental health, I would be really concerned if I was her family. I would get her some help immediately so that
I would
she
have been
can
concerned
navigate
before she went
this.
to court, to be honest. I would have been concerned before she went to court. If one of
Ye-
my girls was trying to do this to her husband,
mhm.
I'd say, right, well, have you got the proof that this happened?
Right,
Because otherwise, you're going to be laughed out of court. Um, I mean, we can make excuses for her demeanor in the
right.
court,
Hmm.
okay, or give reasons for it, not make excuses.
Yes,
We could give reasons
yes,
for it. It
yes.
could be that that was the best way that she could get through what she was going through. Um,
100%. I,
so,
yeah.
but there's so many things to say, but to come out and
Hmm.
give that speech.
Yeah.
I think, as you said, I think she wrote it probably last week,
Hmm.
and she wrote
Probably.
two. She wrote one for if she won and one
Hmm.
for if she lost. If she
Right.
lost, but I must also say, right, I think Johnny Depp also did the same thing.
I
I have
agree there
to
too.
say, I do.
I
Listen, he's
do.
been over here. He's been
Yeah.
over here playing
He's
the
a
songs,
he's
and
on your side of the pond. Yeah,
what
he's
the
over there
hell is
playing
he doing?
music with Beck. He's over there
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Beck's grand. He's
Jeff
singing or
Beck.
he's playing.
Is it Jeff Beck?
Jeff Beck. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's living his best life over there now, but at least he had the good grace to say thank you.
Yes, he did. And he
Whether you
thanked his attorneys. Did she thank her attorneys?
I don't think so. In fact, I got the impression that nobody can tell. We probably both know people in real life that you cannot tell them what to do. You
Oh,
can
yes.
point the way, you can
Hmm.
give them the water, and you can't make them drink it, and they don't care. And I
Yeah.
think she's one of those people that says, I don't care what you tell me, I'm doing it myself. The end, you know?
Listen, if you'd been in that court for
Hmm.
6 weeks, right, you've got all these people
Yeah.
working on your behalf.
Hmm.
You've got people that are willing to go
Hmm.
on, like, on TV to
Hmm.
say good things about you, to try and give some sort of evidence. Wouldn't you think that at the end, that would
Uh-huh.
be the first thing that she would think of?
Yes.
Firstly, to thank them for all their hard work.
Yeah.
Even though I lost,
Yeah. She's
you know,
probably
she's
the girl that says, I
put
paid
it
you,
like that.
so that there's your thank you. I paid you,
Yeah.
you
Oh
know?
no. All she's done, she's given a totally narcissistic
Yes.
answer. That's what she's done, Dee.
Oh, it's a shame because it's not going to look good for her in the future. People now have an idea of who she is. And even if this isn't her, whatever
Mm,
she portrayed in that courtroom, that's what people are going to take away about her. Was her
absolutely.
demeanor and the way she behaved in that courtroom, because that's personal. That's
Mm,
her. Now, whether she was putting on a very badass act or she wanted to look very sad or, poor me, which she has every right to feel. But
mhm.
if you come across, this people are going to think about that trial forever now. They are.
I
And that's how they're going to see
know.
her. I don't know how you get through that.
I
I really
know.
don't. She's going to need some help. I mean,
I
really,
know.
she's going to need help to get
Yeah.
through that. She absolutely, it didn't have to be this way, but this is, she got paid back for what she did to him. She wanted to ruin his career. She did, and he fought back finally.
I honestly believe that he did. There were times when she felt that he was abusing her,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'll put it democratically.
Okay.
Um, I think that there were times that he abused her, but he abused her as a drunk or as a someone who's off his head on drugs. That doesn't give him an excuse for doing it,
That's a
but
good.
it does
Mm-hmm.
sort of, it shows the true picture. I think it paints the true picture.
I can
Now,
see that. I can see how that can
she
happen. Yeah.
also has to concede that she also may have abused him because she's got a mental illness, because
Mm-hmm.
she couldn't cope with the way he was acting. And despite trying to manipulate him,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't always work because
Yeah.
you can't argue with a drunk.
No.
If you're out, right, and a drunk comes up to you and says,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's guys, blah, blah, you're going to be, well, no, actually, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're going to say, well, no, actually, it's not, or you're going to say, yeah, all right, love. Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, that can be, that's fairly, it's not a dangerous situation,
No.
but when you're in a relationship with somebody and that happens over and over again, you're not
Mm-hmm.
always going to want to placate them.
No.
You're going to sort of say, look, will you pull yourself together? I'm fed up with you acting like that.
Uh-huh.
Feel that Johnny, as a nearly 60-year-old man, he's not going to listen to her.
Mm-mm.
He
No.
probably would have been happy if she'd gone out with her mates, as long as she doesn't go out in a short skirt and all her littles on show.
I love how you describe things. I really do. With her ass hanging out and her boobs hanging out. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's right.
right. I
No.
think she could have played it much differently. I think try and slap that label on him was
Mm,
unkind. It
yes.
was unkind.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to reap what she sowed.
Oh
But
boy.
having said that, and I think this is where it really is very, very serious as far as I'm concerned, don't now blame it on everybody else. It's done now. Oh, and the most frightening thing, though, Dee,
What?
I heard is that on the channel I was watching, they were then speaking to some of their reporters, and
Mm-hmm.
one of them was saying, "Well, this isn't going to be the last of it. She's going to appeal." So
Oh,
it'll be going on and on and on. And I thought, oh my God, I don't think I could bear it.
I don't either. No. God, someone please talk
Oh,
some sense into that girl. Why would she appeal that after there was so much public support for Johnny
I
Depp?
know. Just
Millions
too
and
much.
millions of people. She is someone now that they're going to have in bars where they put a target on her face and they're going to throw darts at it. This
I
is
know.
what's going to happen to her
And that's
image.
not nice. That happens to me on Twitter sometimes, Dee.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not alone. I'll say that. You're not alone. No, I know.
Oh my God.
Twitter is Satan.
Um, but I mean, if we can just quickly, because we haven't got much longer left to go, but
Okay.
if we can quickly say, I cannot believe. Now, this again
Mhm.
screams of narcissism for me.
Okay.
Why would she have a child,
Mhm.
not a biological child, from what I can gather? She
Oh,
didn't give birth to this child.
oh, she didn't.
Well, nobody saw any pictures of her pregnant.
Oh, that's true. I didn't never thought about that. When they said she had a child, I just thought she gave birth. I didn't even think
No.
she did a surrogate or something.
Yeah, she'd had a
Ah,
surrogate child.
okay.
Right, so
All
I do
right.
realise, because I'm not completely thick, I do realise you can have a biological child
Mm-hmm.
by a surrogate.
Surrogate, yes.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
So I might be talking out of, whatever.
Nope.
But what I don't understand is why she would choose this time in her life
Mm-hmm.
to have a child.
I hope it wasn't for sympathy. I really do. I'm hoping it wasn't just so that um, she thought someone would take care of her or she would look like she was in need or something. I hope that having that child was not in any way uh, other than just she wanted a child in her life. She wanted a family of her own. God, I hope it wasn't for any other nefarious reason.
Well, she didn't get anything. Nobody's shown her any sympathy, Dee.
Well,
So,
I'm thinking leading up to the trial, she might have thought it might have gone in her favor. Oh, here's a poor single
ah,
mother who, she doesn't have anybody, she doesn't have anything. She's being sued for all the $100 million. And so I wonder if, that might have
it
been a
just
thought. I hope that wasn't the case.
it just didn't make sense to me. When
No.
I heard that and I did a bit of research
Hmm.
and realised it was a surrogate, I thought, couldn't you have waited till next year? You knew this
Yeah,
court case was coming up. Why would
exactly.
you have it now? This child, I think, is about a
Oh,
year old now.
oh,
Why?
really? Oh, my
Yes.
God.
Why would you do that? So nobody knows who the father is. There's claims that it might be Elon
Hmm.
Musk, but
Right.
nobody knows.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell were you thinking of? It's
Yeah.
like if you've spent millions, or not millions, but thousands upon thousands of money, of
Hmm.
pounds or
Hmm.
dollars to get this case together, and all the distress and everything that goes with bringing, say, Johnny Depp to court.
Right.
Why or when did you think, oh, that's a good idea? Let me have a child.
Yeah, I'm going to have a family now. I think right in the middle of all of this. It'd be great. It'll be great because kids are easy, right, Jan? Kids are easy.
I just can't. So if you were Amber's mother,
Hmm.
what advice would you give her now?
I would say, honey, I'm going to take you to the doctor. We're going to get you checked out. I'm worried because you look like maybe you're not feeling great. And I would call ahead to the doctor and say she needs a test to check her mental health. And if not, I would 5150 her and make her go for psychiatric examination for at least a couple of days and have her checked out by somebody because the way that she's acting and has acted up until this point would really concern me. If she
Mm,
can go to these extremes with her life and maybe to everyone else around her, to her it looks very normal, sounds very normal, but to you're right and everybody else is wrong. I think she needs a real look at her mental health to make sure, especially now that she has a child, that you're in the right frame of mind, that you don't get too angry and take it out on a child because it happens. It
mm.
does.
Yeah,
People
of
get
course.
angry. And it sounds like maybe she's an angry girl. So if I was her mom, I said, honey, I'm going to go with you. We're going to get you checked out just to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Everything else will fix itself out. But let's start there.
I think if I was her mother,
Hmm.
the first thing I'd say is, what the hell are you doing? What'd you do that for? That was a
See,
bit stupid.
I'm ready to take her to the mental ward. And you're like, what the hell are you doing? That's funny.
Then I'd say, Johnny's got a few islands. He's got a
Yeah.
few private islands. Go and move on there. I'll come with you. We'll have a nice life over there, just you, me, and the baby. Right?
Right.
I'm going to take your mobile phone away from you.
Oh,
We're not having any televisions,
hmm
nothing. Just you,
hmm
me, and the baby until you sort yourself out because you
yeah,
just made a complete twat of yourself.
yes,
What are you doing? Yeah, I
yeah.
think it is quite. I mean, I shouldn't speak out of turn, but is her mother still alive?
I
And if
don't
so,
know.
was she at the court?
I don't think her mother was there. I know her sister was, and the sister looked very angry too. Now, this might be that I did hear through the, social media grapevine and different videos that everybody, even her friends, are very afraid of her because
Oh,
she's violent and
oh my
she,
God!
and she's angry. So like everyone's afraid of her. And
Oh
apparently she's
no!
hit a few people, not just Johnny.
Oh
It's,
really?
yeah, it's been other people. Now they can't bring that up in court
Well, they
because
brought
it's just
everything
the
else
two of
up.
them. But yeah, she's a
Oh.
very angry person, and I would be
Um,
concerned. But
yeah.
I don't know if a mother is in the picture, but I can't see she'd listen to anybody, quite frankly. I really don't. I don't think she'd listen
No.
to anybody. Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay, so I don't think we're going to be doing any more podcasts on Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
Okay.
But who
Okay.
knows? So that's about it for podcast number 2. It's been fun, Dee, hasn't it?
It has. I love talking to you. I have so much fun.
Oh, I do too. Uh,
Yeah.
next one, I don't think it's going to be about them. It's going to be something a little lighter,
I
maybe.
think
Although
so.
I
Yeah.
think we can just talk about anything, us two, can't we?
Yeah.
We should
Yep.
have called ourselves the Boomers, but never mind. We are, of course, the Rocking Elders, which I have a hard job remembering. So I'm
Which is funny.
so I'm going to say goodbye from me.
Okay. And goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, you've been yeah, as usual, Dee. It's been an absolute joy, and we'll see you on the next podcast next week.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jan.
Thanks, Dee. And now I'm going to show you something that Dee bought from my merch shop. She's an absolute darling, and I just want to put this up just so that you know that not only is my artwork absolutely bloody amazing,
Yes, it
it
is.
looks fabulous. Are you happy with it, Dee?
I love it so much. It's a grit. The backpack is fabulous. It's so well made, and the artwork on it is just perfect and unique and Jan. So yeah, I encourage everybody to take a look at the merch. It's fabulous. Love
Thank
it.
you so much, darling.
Mhm.
So we'll see you again soon, guys. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, Dee.
You're welcome, honey.